Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Now I'm going to be talking today about what I believe the FNaF timeline is. But before then I need to discuss a few things to better understand this timeline, namely Golden Freddy and the box. So in FNaF world there is an ending you can get called the clock ending, is which leads to the box, because when Scott didn't release the box he said that the pieces were there scattered throughout FNaF 4, but no one found the pieces. However, in the clock ending, we have what appears to be Fred Plush from FNaF 4, the one that followed around BV, saying, "The pieces are in place for you. All you have to do is find them." Now, I have to give credit for him where it's due. Golden Freddy person, Cold Golden Freddy on Discord, talked about what the pieces are. And the pieces are the the toys that you see throughout FNaF 4. You have Toy Chica, and Toy Chica was in the mini game, which leads to its counterpart. There's Mangle and Balloon Boy. And there's also the Stage 1 mini game, which is exactly what's happening in FNaF 4 with Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. So all of those pieces come together, they become the mini game Happiest Day. So what's in the box? Happiest Day. Would the community, then Scott asks, would the community accept it that way? And now that if Happiest Day is what's in the box, then that makes sense because we're already seeing the Happiest Day. So it's nothing really new, does bring, but it does make one theory that the bite victim becoming Golden Freddy very almost concrete, because why else? It's meant this is all FNaF 4 is all about the bite of 83 and the bite victim, so why wouldn't Golden Freddy be the bite victim? Until the logbook happened. So there is this crossword in the survival logbook, and it came back with Cassidy, and it also had "It's me, it's me, it's me" all for it, which "It's me" is Golden Freddy's catchphrase, and Cassidy, and it came back with Cassidy. Now, Cassidy was this girl from the fourth closet that was part of the missing children incident and was described with long black hair. Now, in the logbook, we actually do see her here in the place of where Golden Freddy is. So, quoting the Insanity ending of Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria Simulator, there would have been a tidy resolution if BV was Golden Freddy. However, Golden Freddy is Cassidy. So, question is, what happened to BV? Well, if we look at the lines for Fred Plush, it seems to be that BV saw Cassidy's death, and that's why she keeps following him everywhere. Because there's hurry the other way and find someone who'll help. He'll help. You know it will happen if he catches you, because he saw her get caught and get stuffed into presumably Fredbear. And don't you remember what you saw at the exit is the other way? Now, this leads to the bite of 83. Now, this may be a bit of a straw grasp, but I think that at that time, Fredbear was being possessed by Cassidy, because I think she was stuffed into a suit like all the others, but the only suit that she could be stuffed into was Fredbear. So after that, BV gets shoved into the mouth of Fredbear, and then this leads back to Happiest Day. Now, Happiest Day, in the position where BV is, he'd be where the cake is, and Golden Freddy is where Fredbear is. So I think that because the souls of the children, which is shown throughout the series, aren't very sentient, they're just more like trapped in it. So Cassidy probably thought that BV was cake or something, so she bit down, and causing BV's death. And another thing, I've got a quote from an interview by Geeks Under Grace, and they were asking Scott Coffin, what's the story behind Golden Freddy? And Scott said, sometimes things just happen during the game making process. I can't explain Golden Freddy. Now, I think that while Golden Freddy did become the spirit of Fredbear. She did possess Fredbear. I think that after the incident, Fredbear was probably destroyed, and we saw with the death mini games of FNaF 3 not the death mini games, the mini games that happen after each night. We see how whenever an animatronic is broken, the soul escapes, and I think that's what happened with Golden Freddy. After Fredbear was destroyed, Cassidy's soul escaped, and she became just a ghost. However, there is more to that, because I think that while Golden Freddy is a ghost, I think that she's actually haunting the games themselves, which explains why there are all these weird mini games like the keypad in the Fazbear's Fright FNaF 3 for the mini games that lead uh, to Happiest Day. That's what Golden Freddy created all these mini games within the games. Like, she possesses the games and creates the games to help explain the story, because we see with Help Wanted, Fazbear Entertainment hired an indie developer to tell the stories, so Scott would only be told what Fazbear Entertainment told him. However, if Cassidy was there, who knew more, she'd be able to infect the games and tell the real story behind it. And that's why I think that Golden Freddy is like Mel here. Because when Mel here came in Pizza Party, we saw the Spring Bonnie plush that keeps on following you around. And what happens in FNaF 4? There's a Fredbear plush following her around. And also, Mel here influences the games just like Golden Freddy does. However, Golden Freddy does it in a good way, while Mel here does it in a malicious way. Now, this leaves the question of what happened to Beaver if he isn't the bite, if he is to Beaver if he isn't Golden Freddy. Well, he's Mike. He's Michael Afton, because it these words seem to be talking to Michael. There's does he still talk to you? Referencing Fred Plush. Was your favorite childhood toy a plastic purple telephone, which is from FNaF 4? The party was for you, Bite of 83. And does he still talk to you? And then there's this other thing where there's a mirror, and it says, "What do you see?" Now, this is a direct reference to Sister Location, where we see Michael Afton's looking in a mirror. And I believe that confirms that Michael Afton is the bite victim, and that's why Golden Freddy seems to act differently to Michael, because Michael has a connection with Golden Freddy because he saw her die. So now here's the timeline. So it starts in FNaF 4. Well, before FNaF 4, there is Charlie's death, and she becomes a puppet. Then there are the missing children incident, and then BVC's Cassidy, the fifth child, being stuffed into a Fredbear suit, and then he becomes scared. And then the bite of 83 happens, and then he dies. And then, yeah, I'm not quite exactly sure how he comes back, because there's a lot of conflicting evidence. However, I do think that there is evidence that he did survive that. So in FNaF 2, that said in 1987, and then nothing unusual happens because Scott said that we've basically solved FNaF 2. And then FNaF 1 happens as normal, and then Sister Location. I believe it does happen after FNaF 1, because Sister Location, Michael Afton, is confirmed to be Mark Schmidt. Now, if Michael Afton was a purple rotting corpse, no one would hire him, because they'd probably call the police or something. So, and he would have had to have gone to an interview. So I think that before Sister Location, he worked at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in 1993. Now, the timing of Sister Location, the best I have is in 2010 because of Hand Unit. Now, Hand Unit is like a user interface, and the most similar thing, Siri, was developed in 2010. So that is likely when Sister Location happened, because since Sister Location, that's when Hand Unit has been used, and it's not as strictly Afton Robotics. It's been used by Fazbear Entertainment in Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria Simulator and Help Wanted. And then it goes to FNaF 3. Now Hand Unit isn't used in FNaF 3 because they wanted to look as antique as the original Freddy Fazbear's, which started in 1983, then closed in 1983. Now here's where it gets a bit interesting, because I believe that FNaF 3, it's set in actually 2013, and the release dates of the games are normal, because in Help Wanted these games do happen. FNaF 1 through to Sister Location, they do exist. So in order for that to happen and for the events of FNaF 3 to be true, it'd have to happen before 2019, when Help Wanted is set. So this So in 1983, when the missing children incident happened, plus Fred Bear killing a child in 1983 caused it to close, and 30 years later, in 2013, FNAF 3 happens. Now I've put FNAF 4 in two places, because FNAF 4 is set, it would have to be after 3 because of Happiest Day being in the box, and also because of Plush Trap, because Plush Trap looks a lot like Springtrap. So it's about the mixing of the memories from FNAF 1 of the Nightmare animatronics coming to hunt you down, FNAF 2 with Plush Trap's actual, because with the FNAF 2 toys, and yeah. Then it leads us to Help Wanted, where it's a combination of all of that. Now, the just games of FFPS and Ultimate Custom Night. So, I believe that they are just games, because even though we do see merch for Scrap Baby, why would Freddy Fazbear do something like that? Why would they make merch of a failed project unless it was just a game? And yeah, and the Ultimate Custom Night, which was meant to be a DLC of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, and I think that it doesn't really have any canon relevance, because there's just too much conflicting evidence, and it doesn't, it just doesn't seem to make sense with how the animatronics are all there, but they're not the souls that are of them. They're just the characters themselves, and it doesn't really seem like a torture, because there's Rockstar Foxy, who can who can actually help you, and other things like L-Chips advertising. It just doesn't seem like a torture method or whatever. It just seems like a fun game, and that's probably all FFPS and Ultimate Custom Night are. They're just fun games. However, with FFPS, I do believe that there is it is, while it isn't canon to the FNAF universe, there still is lore in it. There's still things you can trust with the mini games. And yeah, that's that's my timeline for FNAF. So next there's gonna be the books and the AR game. So I may update it if it brings new information. And yeah, cool. So I'll see you in the next episode.